Hey everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Flow Happy. I'm liking that. If you're feeling that, let me know in the comments. Happy Flow Happy. Today I want to talk about what I'm going to call the trinity of personal transformation and the simple hack for it. The trinity for personal transformation and the simple hack for it. So first of all, let's talk about transformation. Transformation, we're talking about literally the change from one thing into another thing. We're not talking about incremental growth. The most common metaphor, I think, is the difference between a caterpillar and a butterfly. So we're talking about the ability to start as a caterpillar, turn into a butterfly, not start as a caterpillar and be 1 inch longer as a caterpillar. That's incremental change. We're talking about transformation. So, and these are three fundamental things you can do to accelerate your ability to transform. The first one actually has to do with the requirement for energy production and energy utilization. All transformation is going to require a more than average amount of energy. And because of that, the first the first of the triad is, believe it or not, hydration. Believe it or not, it's going to be hydration. Because when we're talking about a whole list of things connected in the web of energy production, at the center of that, you're going to find hydration. Whether it be your ability to assimilate nutrients from the food you eat, whether it's the amount of mental clarity you have, whether it's the efficiency of your ATP energy production at the mitochondrial level in your cells, whether it's your ability to mitigate, manage inflammation, whether it's your ability to be responsive, both in physical mobility or mental acuity, whether it's your ability to have a fortified immune system so that your biological systems aren't distracted in fighting off unwarranted attacks. All of these things are fueled by proper proper hydration. Turns out that most people are mildly dehydrated, or they are hydrating with liquids that have a very inefficient result of actual hydration. A couple of things around that. If you're waiting to drink, if you're waiting to feel thirsty before you drink, I guarantee you are mildly hydrated. If you are not drinking by a non-feeling cue, something outside of you, like a calendar or a schedule or a watch or a clock. If you're not drinking by the clock, you are most likely dehydrated. It is very likely that many of the things you're drinking is either slowing down your rate of hydration or might even be stopping your rate of hydration or sending you backwards towards dehydration through things like caffeine and some other things we commonly put in our liquid. So be aware that hydration, although it falls clearly in the nutritional camp, is fundamental to energy production, and energy production is fundamental to your ability to start, maintain, or accelerate any type of transformation. The second is protein consumption. Most people eat less than the optimal amounts of protein. Most people eat less than the optimal amounts of protein. If you talk to the body transformation coaches or bodybuilders or elite athletes, they're going to tell you that the optimum range of protein is in that 1 gram of protein per gram of body weight range. Now, if you're like me and many others, you think you have already associated protein to be fundamental to muscle building, which is true, but it's an incomplete story. Every other critical biological process in our body has a protein component, whether it's rebuilding, whether it's your body's ability to create your hormones or balance your hormones, whether it's your body's ability to maintain all the critical systems required for you to be efficiently alive. And these fall way under you being more than just efficiently alive, which is getting ahead, building muscles, that type of thing. In fact, what most people say when they state their goals, especially their physical goals, they're not stating a, a balanced average condition. That's not what most people want. What most people want is something beyond the minimum requirement, right? The minimum requirement is not what people state when they state their goal. They exist in a version of the minimal requirement because one thing about life is living organisms will automatically do the things required to maintain the living condition. It may not be the healthy condition, but it will maintain the living condition. So people that are chronically under the adequate protein number, you are robbing Peter to pay Paul, I think is the metaphor people use, where your your body is, because maintaining critical organs like your heart, your lungs, your brain, your nervous system, you might just be barely getting enough protein for the maintenance and repair of those vital organs, which means it's pulling the reserves of protein away from you doing other things. So don't associate protein with your ability to build guns, right? That's true, but incomplete in the story. The first thing your body's going to do as you start to take in nutrients and fuel is check the box on you having enough protein for all the critical systems to be efficiently alive. That's way below the bar of you being fit or lean or you're increasing your performance. That's just for you to be efficiently alive. So until you've consumed enough of protein for those boxes to be checked, you're going to be pulling the protein, available protein, from all those other areas. That's why many people highly suggest that you monitor your protein intake. And many people will say, and this is a practice I've adopted many years ago, is that you start your morning off with a large amount of protein. That's a large amount of. I'm going to let you go through the labyrinth of determining what types of protein sources are best for you. But I can tell you, protein as a source is critical because your body needs to break down that protein into amino acids. The amino acids get flooded through your body and they direct it to the critical systems first. And after all of your critical systems are taken care of, then it redirects to other things, which the other things are the things that we've associated protein consumption to be related to, like muscle repair, muscle synthesis, lean body mass growth, and all that other stuff. So protein is important. Now, people may be saying, well, what if I'm trying to transform in something that I'm not trying to do a body transformation, I'm trying to transform my business? I still say you get these first two components under control because we get better at what we do, right? Which means the only way you're going to control hydration so far and protein so far is to have a plan, to execute a plan, to monitor it, right? To monitor to plan and monitor that plan, to work a system designed to keep you compliant with those two things. And when you start to do those two things for something as fundamental as just the nutrition of your body, it becomes very, very easy for you to use those exact same skills in areas of your life outside of your body that are actually going to be subconsciously less critical than you maintaining that that efficient life status and beyond. So if you can do these two things, even if you don't think you need to, if you can just prove to you in the universe that you can get those two things under control, you will suddenly be amazed at how other things you suddenly start to take control of. The third of the triad is the the negative to positive redirect. The negative to positive redirect. And what I mean by that is throughout the course of the day, you're going to get input from your environment, from many sources. Things you see, things you hear, things you feel, things you think. And as a result of that input, that data input, you're going to assign meaning to those things. The vast majority of the meanings, the vast majority of people assigned is negative. And I could do a whole different video on why that is. It's not necessarily a bad thing. Actually, it's probably rooted in survival, right? It's probably rooted in your bodies and body systems and psychological systems prioritizing you maintaining the efficient life status. Same as the first two principles. So you're going to probably have a negative association with many of the input you do. And as protections against that, you're going to set off a chain reaction that's going to result in you taking certain behavior. You need to try to, one, build the awareness of that happening. When something happens and you have this thought and you realize that that's not a positive thought, you need to consciously have a redirect. To simplify the language, instead of looking for the bad moment just as the bad moment, you want to acknowledge a bad moment and then consciously look for the silver lining. Whether you know there to be one there or not, you want to build the habit of automatically moving into looking for the upside, looking for the different or alternative interpretation of what that data might mean, looking for the silver lining in every single moment. Now, I'm not trying to be Pollyanna. I'm not trying to tell you that everything bad is not bad and instantly you can change bad to good. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that more often than people not, the vast majority of what we perceive and feel and act in accordance to being bad is mostly fiction. It's mostly things we made up of what could possibly be. But we live in a world where the bad that could possibly be is no more probable than the good that could possibly be if we gave the good the same focus and attention and reaction that we gave the bad. So the triad, the trinity of controlling personal transformation. In a simplified, you can do it everyday manner that is multi-layered, right? That it feeds your ability to transform your body, your health, but it also feeds who you are as a person driven by unconscious thought and habits to be able to apply the same fundamentals of these two things outside of your body into projects and businesses and ventures. They can all be maintained by you getting a master control over these three things. One, energy production. We don't call it for what it is. Energy production and management. We practically express that as controlling hydration. Two, protein consumption. We're gonna practically call that the understanding that the goal is not the minimal homeostasis. What we want is greater than the minimum requirement to exist. What we want is greater than the minimum requirement to be okay, to feel okay, to understand it okay. Most of the things we want are beyond that. They're in the area of abundance. Most people, what they want with their body is an abundant body. That doesn't have to mean abundant muscles. That means that what you want in your body is in the range of abundance. You don't want just enough. You don't want just enough health. You want more than enough health. You want more than enough energy. You want more than enough responsiveness. You want more than enough mental clarity and creativity and all that stuff. You literally want an abundant body, an abundant existence. Managing your protein is a management of abundance because we can easily survive with a fraction of the amount of protein that would be abundant, and we will never feel the better for it in the moment. Just over time, as running that deficit starts to manifest in how we look, feel, and perform. And finally, that ability to do the conscious redirect from negative to positive. This might actually be the harder task of them all. It's the simplest of them all because it takes no requirement, no money, nothing to do it, but the commitment to become aware of it and the commitment to just go through the motion of it. That's all it takes to do it. But it's by far the rarest of these three things. The rarest of these three things, although it's the simplest of these three things to do because you can do it starting right now with no inclusion, with no other thing to be added into your life, but you making the decision to do so. So these are the three things, the triad, the trinity of human transformation. Oh, I promised you a simple hack. Well, the common denominator for all of these things is to be aware of it, to monitor it, to be aware of it, to monitor it, and then to track your action to control it. That's the hack. Be aware of your hydration by monitoring it and track it so that you can act on managing it. Same with protein. They both require a plan. They both require something to support the plan outside of how you feel, whether it be the clock or a paper schedule. There are external controls that you embrace to empower your ability to internally control these things. And the third is the same way. You have to have a plan, you have to be monitored, and you have to have corrective, in the moment corrective behavior. In the moment corrective behavior. Oh man, this just happened with my business, or somebody just said this and it moved and it triggered my meter to feeling angry. Okay, why? What meaning did I give that? What other thing could be happening now? What other thing could this mean? To me, I started this so long ago that that's my immediate response to most things. Regardless of what happens, my immediate response, and it irritates a lot of people, especially on my corporate staff and around me, people that know me know that, because I visibly to them and immediately go to the where is the bright side, and they misinterpret that to from to mean that I don't think something bad is happening or I refuse to acknowledge something bad, which is absolutely the opposite of what is happening. Clearly see when something bad is happening, but that's not the most important thing. The most important thing, one, is first my trigger has to jump in to make sure that I'm looking for the upside, the silver lining. But that's because if I see one, that's where my energy needs to be for sure. So those are the three, the triad of personal growth and transformation. Um, I hope you found something in there that you can use, and I hope that you take it upon yourself to um, for today to be happy, flow happy. I really like that. Happy, flow happy.